right now in the garden season, you're probably just starting to really get anything out of it, right? The tomatoes are starting to ripen. There's maybe some peppers. I know my jalapenos are doing really good right now. So tomatoes, some peppers, lettuce has been doing good. But if you haven't been watering that much, you probably have really bitter lettuce right now. My cucumbers are just coming into season, and zucchinis, everybody knows how prolific zucchinis are. So you're probably picking those, and your onions are probably about ready to harvest shortly here. I know mine are, unless you started them from seed, then they'll be a little bit later, possibly 2 weeks or so. But overall, right now, the garden is just basically starting to produce for you. My squashes and some tomatoes and peppers and onions, tomatillos, all this, they're just starting to come into season. I had some peppers die. They had too much water, and some of my tomatoes are not doing well either because of all the rain we've gotten, really flooding. But you can see I'm getting some ripe tomatoes there. Super exciting. And this is where the lettuce was. I was just harvesting some, and this is what's left. I'm going to be pulling that out and actually planting more in there, and on this side as well. Now, cucumbers, starting to get a few, and we've got a lot of downy mildew also because of the wet and cold mixture this year. We've also got some raspberries ripening here. Really exciting because raspberries are one of my favorite. And the strawberries are pretty much done for the year. Occasionally I'll get a few out of the garden, but overall they're done, and we'll be bringing these little guys into the rows to keep the rows nice and straight. Many of you may just be reaping the benefits now of your spring planting, which is great, but the work is not done. You can definitely get another crop in if you're smart about it. Things like broccoli, cabbage, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, cauliflower, beets, carrots, lettuce. Did I mention that already? Maybe not. Beans. Also, if you want, you can plant another crop of pole beans or bush beans. I know I'm really hoping to get those in because my first ones totally tanked. They did not do good. They rotted and withered away because we have had such a odd winter, or not winter, spring and summer. It was wet, hot, humid, and then cold. It was just really weird. So a lot of the things in the garden didn't do so well, but cucumbers, if you planted them now, you could also get another rotation of harvest out of there as well. My fall garden, this is not going to be, there's not going to be as much in there as the summer garden, but once I pull out my onions, I will be planting garlic, not in the same spots though. I'll have to check my companion planting chart, but I'm pretty sure they are not good companions, therefore should not be planted one after the other or close to where it was, just because the soil needs are different. Anyway, garlic has to be overwintered. If you plant those guys in October, that's the perfect time to plant your garlic for a harvest for next year. So they have to be overwintered. I'm trying to think of what else I'll be doing for a fall garden. Lettuce is definitely one, and kale. and spinach. Those things I'm going to be doing a second rotation of it, and I'm going to be planting beets, potatoes, and carrots. Carrots can be in the ground. I think I already said that, but they can be in the ground all winter long, which is really neat. I didn't know that until I noticed it the one year that I accidentally left some in the ground. I didn't know that they were in there. I thought I had pulled them all up, but the greenery had all just died off, and I just dropped my cucumber. Anyway, the greenery had all died off, and then the next year when I went to go plant, or just prepare the beds for planting, I pulled out a carrot that had been there literally all winter, and I broke it, and it was still crunchy, and I ate it, and it was still delicious. So those are the things that you can plant in the next few weeks. We are in zone 6B or zone 6, depending on which part of southern Ontario you are living in, but the location that I'm in, and anybody who knows me, our area anyway, we are in zone 6B. So look up what you can plant during this season and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're planning on growing in your fall gardens, because I love ideas. I love trying new things in the garden. And this year I really hope to utilize that fall garden crop, because I've never really utilized it. I've just accidentally left things in the garden because of my neglect. But yeah, so this year my plan is I will be planting carrots, beets, potatoes, garlic, more lettuce, kale, and some spinach. Those are all cold hardy crops. I think you can do kohlrabi. I think I mentioned that. I'm like repeating myself. I had a list, I wrote it down and left it inside, and now I'm just too lazy to go get it. In other garden news, my plum tree is looking really prolific, but I noticed some aphids on here the other day. If you notice all these ants, where can I see one? Yeah, there we go. We see an ant there. We see an ant there. Ants can be a good thing, but if you have aphids, ants actually protect your aphids, which you don't want. So this is kind of aphid damage. Can't really see it. I'm trying to find a good spot. Like yesterday, I saw, not yesterday, it was earlier this week, there was lots of aphids on this tree. And I found a couple of ladybugs elsewhere in the yard, and I brought them and put them on the aphid plots. There's some. Can't really see much, but there's aphids, and then there's another leaf up there that also has aphids on it. So I could spray, but I don't want to, because that also kills your good predators that you want in your garden. You could go the commercial spray route, you know, go to Walmart or Home Hardware, TSC, Canadian Tire. Actually, it's not TSC, it's PV Mart now. But you could go that route and spray the aphids, or you could get neem oil. That's an organic spray, but that's also not good for ladybugs. So I'm gonna just leave it. I'm choosing to leave it because it's also attracting ladybugs, which is a good thing. You want ladybugs on your fruit trees because they kill the pests. Ants will protect the pests. So I'm actually planning to put sticky tape at the stem of the plum tree to deter the ants, because ants will actually harvest aphids. Like they'll take the aphids along and bring it elsewhere in the garden, because I forget why they do that, but they do that anyway. They protect aphids. So you don't want your ants on your trees with aphids. You want ladybugs though. So that's other news. We're also at that stage in the season where our strawberries are creating little babies. So you can see the roots there. You could technically wait till the fall and snip them off and then repot them and put them elsewhere, but I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm doing. Simple trick. You just take it and you like reroute it just to make sure that they kind of stay in the same line. Like, I don't want a bunch of wonky rows. I like them to be straighter because it's easier for picking and for watering. So we're just gonna plop these strawberries into the rows. And I know technically a lot of people, like, they don't like the overgrowth. So a lot of them will just, if you want to extend your berries, like your berry patch, make it longer, then wait until the fall and snip them off. I'll show you guys how to do that in the fall. But right now, this is what we're doing. I will eventually make the rows longer and extend them all the way along to the vegetable patch over there so that this whole patch is covered in strawberries. But so right now we're just containing the wilderness here. As you can look at this guy, there is already 1, 2, 3, 4 plants coming from this one strawberry plant, and we're only halfway through the year, so that's exciting. Now, to start your fall garden, you can, like I said, you can direct seed, or you can start them now and then plant them in a few weeks. And I'm choosing to plant them now in pots, probably not indoors. I could technically do it indoors, but I'm going to do it outside in a nice sunny spot and keep them watered and move them into a shady spot, back and forth, so that they kind of get used to the UV stuff right away, and then I don't need to harden them off later. So yeah, what I'll be doing is I'm going to be starting my plants in pots from seed, because you can't really find them at a garden center now anyway. And I'm only doing things that we like eating, because I've planted things just for fun and then it kind of goes to waste. I either end up giving it away to somebody who's not eating it anyway, or I just feed it to my chickens. And although the chickens love the treats, I kind of feel like it's so much work for me to be throwing it out or feeding it to my chickens. So I'll be doing a few things from seed in pots outdoors, and then once I have more space in the garden in a few weeks, then I will be planting them. Probably mid-August is when I will be putting those things in the ground. So if you are in zone 6, 6B, you can now start planting and planning the things for your fall garden. And my ducks are in my watermelons, and that's not okay. So I'm going to go shoo them out. You guys are in my watermelons. Come on. Get. Little bums flatten my plants. I know they're just looking for shade, but they can go shade searching under trees, not in my watermelon patch. Yay, look, there's a little baby watermelon. Oh, there's a pretty big one. That's exciting. Oh, there's another one. Really hoping we get some nice sunny days so they can ripen. Here's another one. Do you see any more? So this is 5 watermelon plants. One is a seedless, the others are seeded. And the reason why I did that was for cross-pollination. Hopefully it will become lots of watermelons for us to eat. There's another one. a little bit deformed, but that's okay. There's lots of blooms on here, and my husband murdered some of my watermelons with the lawnmower. If you guys know me, you know I've complained about him murdering my plants with the lawnmower before. He'll watch this later and laugh, and he'll be like, I'm sorry. It's just funny. Sometimes I like to poke at him for things like that, but that's okay. Oh, look, there's another one. Yay. So far I've found like 7 or 8 in this patch, and considering how huge of an area this is, they better all ripen and possibly give me more. And then I have butternut squash here. I don't know if it was a good idea planting them side by side, because these guys need pollination, those guys need pollination. And I'm wondering if the cross-pollinating is going to cause my watermelons to be just giant squash. But there's a squash. Or if the squash are going to take on the watermelon effect. That would actually be kind of an interesting experiment. When I cut into them, I'll definitely take you guys along, because this is, again, super prolific. And my dog is in there. Hazel, you are not allowed in the garden. Get out. Next year I do plan on expanding the garden again. I know I said this year that this was as big as it was going to get, but who am I kidding? I can't just leave it. It has to get bigger. We have to have more. Next year's plan, if I can get my husband on board, is this will all be vegetables. So I'll do the ones that we like to eat for canning and fresh eating here. And then hopefully we'll get my greenhouse up here. And then we're going to have another patch here with herbs and all the huge vining plants like that. Just so this space doesn't get wasted with just vines. If that is dedicated to vines, this can be dedicated to tomatoes, peppers, onions, all those things. Anyway, folks, I'm going to be done now. I'm heading in, going to make some dinner, and let me know in the comments below what you're planning on doing this fall for a fall garden. And let me know if there's anything you'd like me to share, like me to show you. Ask me a question, leave a comment below, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and we will see you next time. See you later, guys.